May I introduce myself? Ladies, gentlemen, and children, lend me your ears and your eyes, for this is what I say. We cannot escape history or time. Every day we are creating history, the history of the coronavirus. It's 1,000 years' time, in 1,000 years' time. Our descendants will say they played their part on that coronavirus day that makes me be alive today. So I will play my part and making another day of solitude a day of entertainment, interest, and hopefully educational. So is there anybody there? Because I can't see you. Is there anybody there? If there is, knock 3 times. Good. I will begin. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to entertain those of an inquisitive mind. I wish to find and pass on the answers of our ancient past, which scholars have passed over as legends and myths. Now, holidays for many we're all about. Find restaurants, beaches and brown knees. Now, my delight was seeking out great Alexander and mighty Hercules. So a time traveller I will be. Would you care to come with me? May I introduce myself? It was at the 23 St John Street, Kidderminster, in the county of Worcestershire, in the reign of our sovereign Lord and King Emperor, George V. At 1 o'clock in the morning, on the 26th of March, 1935, a beautiful boy was born. It was me. Now, dear Doris, my mother, was having problems. The doctor came in on this mad March night with a pair of forceps, weird-looking instruments. And with a yank, I came from the world of a warm womb into the room of those that were living. And I had on my head, from that day forth to the day I die, 2 scars, either side of my head. A thank you to those forceps tongs. And they will keep me company to the day I die. And now for a picture. My dear old mater, now resting a mouldering with my father in Kidderminster Cemetery. And there is I. Did I cry, I was asked. No, I bellowed like a bull, but I was here to stay and to forge my own destiny with my help of my parents and my teachers. My early school days were at Harry-Chester School, where to our childish delight, the Germans came and bombed it. Well done, Mr. Ittle, we cried. Do it again. It was onwards and upwards, and to Seabright School in Wolveley I did go, where my greatest achievement seemed to be in skipping, for my school report said he skipped most things, until I was introduced by my great housemaster Paul Hutchinson to history, maths and geography. And from that day on I became an adventurer. So now my holidays were archaeological digs and visits to ancient ruins like Hadrian's Wall and Aylesbury Rings. Then came the day when I received a letter. A very important letter. It had come from the Queen, Her Majesty, if not herself, one of the lads that worked for her. She said she was in trouble. Can I help? Of course I can help, I said. And so she gave me a rifle and a brand spanking new uniform. And to the army I did go. I enjoyed the army. It made me smart. It made me proud. And look at these boots. They were fantastic. Everybody had to bull their boots. So here I am in Germany, a soldier of the Queen. It was the Cold War of 1953, the war of do we shoot or do we not. So for 2 years I patrolled Germany's border opposite the Russian east, looking at Mother Russia and Mother Russia looking at me. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he that sheds his blood with me this day will be my brother. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed. They were not here, and hold their money cheap, whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. Thank you, Mr. Shakespeare. It still applies to this day. Civvy Street brought me to farming at Hartlebury. And I was the kindest farmer I might be later on. I was the kindest farmer you could find, because I couldn't kill my animals. They were all my friends. Their babies, they had babies, and their babies had babies, and their babies' babies had babies. And I got my money tied up with them on the hoof. Whilst my social life was zero. Reluctantly, I sold them. Goodbye, I said, and sold them in Kidderminster Market, which is now a car park. And to Chance Technical College in Smethwick, I went. And there I became an engineer, progressing rapidly through the firm, GKN Reinforcements at Smethwick. I considered myself rich enough to get married and live forever by having a daughter. So here's a picture of my lovely lady wife and my daughter. 2 little girls, both beautiful. The youngest one is Claudia Hadrienne Victoria Alexander, all named after ancient heroes. That's Daddy for you and his history. Then, in a hope that I might live forever, I had 6 grandchildren, and that's young Thomas, the second born, who's now in the New Zealand Army. Well done, Tom. And here's a poem by Lord Macaulay that Churchill, 54 verses that Churchill learnt by heart when he was at school at Harrow, which I think is appropriate to this coronavirus. See if it fits. And in the night of winter, when the cold north wind did blow, and long howling of the wolves was heard amongst the snows, when round the lonely cottage, roared the tempest din, and the good logs of Worcestershire roared loudly yet within. When the oldest cask is opened, and the largest lamp is lit, when the chestnuts grow on the embers, and the kid turns on the spit, when young and old encircle around the firebrand's close, when the girls are weaving baskets and the boys are making bows, when the good man mends his armour and trims his helmet plume when the good wife's shuttle goes merrily flashing across the loom. With weeping and with laughter, still is the Tory soul told how we killed that virus in those brave days of old. Thank you very much. Come again. Goodbye. Until the next time.